Sir, some people are waiting in the lobby. Sir, two of our speakers, they are waiting in the lobby now.
Hello, Mr. Abraham. Let's drop a chat for him.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good evening. Okay, so we can start right now if everybody can hear me while others will join as we move on.
Yes.
Okay. So before we start, I'll just say a short prayer. Father, we thank you for everybody here. And as we're about to start this event, we want to start with you, and we pray that you take control of all the activities we're going to do here this evening. We pray that you help us to understand cybersecurity well. In Jesus' mighty name, I pray. Amen. So we are glad that everybody is here this evening. So can everybody still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so thank you very much for attending this event. Okay, so my name is Oluwatomilola Arogundade, and I am the GDG Cybersecurity Lead for Babcock University. And for this virtual event, we collaborated with the GDG Cybersecurity community in Lautech. So as we move on this meeting, we're going to hear from GDG Lautech, from the people that are going to represent them. So, and also what this whole event is about cybersecurity, and we got a company. So CyberTech Nexus, they are going to be speaking to us today about cybersecurity. But then I want to introduce the company to us. So CyberTech Nexus is a dynamic cybersecurity firm, and it was founded in 2017 with the headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria, and they're also in the USA. So they offer a comprehensive array of services, including cybersecurity, consulting, recruitment, penetration testing, and also regulatory compliance support. So they also have an academy that provides hands-on training and certifications that are designed to elevate the skills of professionals and teams in real-world cyber defense. So basically, what they do is to offer cybersecurity services to organizations, can be penetration testing, and also they have an academy to train people that want to go into cybersecurity. So we'll still hear more from them eventually as we move on. So let's move on to the next section, and that will be title of the section will be My Cybersecurity Journey. So I'd like to hand over to the representative from Lautech for them to introduce themselves and tell us a bit about their cybersecurity journey, like how you started, what inspired you, things like that. And what was it like for you as a beginner?
Thank you very much. So, Felicia Fashi, the cybersecurity lead for GDG on campus for Lautech chapter. And I think on this call I have Igipo, and my co-lead Oluwaseun. So I'll just be speaking on my cybersecurity journey, how I started, and challenges that I faced. So before getting into school, like before gaining admission, when I was in secondary school, so I was stuck with this question that, okay, what did I want to do in my life? What did I want to study in school, like in university? So most of my friends, they already have answers to the questions: medicine, engineering, other courses. But I was like, this engineering thing, I'm not really good at physics. Like I'm an average student. Even if I say I want to do medicine, I don't like biology. I don't like stuff. So I was just researching on what to do. So I found out computer science, programming, and I found cybersecurity. So I like explored all the parts, and I found out that it was like cybersecurity that I fell in love with. So I started programming actually. So I started HTML and CSS. So when it got to the JavaScript side, like it was kind of hard for me. So I like left that one. I picked up another programming language again. I picked up Python. I was writing Python at some point, and I was like, oh, this Python, I'm not feeling it. So I left Python alone too. Then I started learning cybersecurity on Triacme. So it was like interesting because there is a lot of things that you've been seeing that are working that you now get to understand how they work. So I was just learning, but at that time I did not have a roadmap because I was learning by myself, just a, a secondary school student that just left secondary school. So I was just learning, no roadmap, no mentor. So I was just learning anyhow. It was in a zigzag manner. So when I got into university, 100 level, we're doing, I think, orientation here. So I met with some couple of guys. So I met with Kismet, Paul, and some guys. So they were like, they do cyber security too, and they were like, okay, let's hang out one weekend and let's see what we can do. So yeah, so these guys like give me resources on where to start from, and they like tell me that, okay, if you need any issue, you can come. So it is not like they actually spoon feed me. Yeah, so there was one day I wanted to install CaliOS. So I started talking to Kismet that Alpha boss, I want to install this CaliOS. She was like, that's nice now that it's like I'm liking cybersecurity. So I was like, should I bring my system so that you would help me install it? She said no, that can never help me install. And I was like, bro, you're supposed to be motivating me now, like supposed to help me do this thing. Said no, but he has a flash drive that he can give me that I should go and install it by myself. So that day I actually felt annoyed that why is this Egono helping me to do this thing? So I know that I did not know anything. So when I later got home, it was not like the reason why it did not help me install it was that so that I would know how to install it next time and I would know how to fix issues. So yeah, that's just the journey of me starting cybersecurity. So ever since then, I've been like learning, self-learning, doing a lot of self-learning. And after learning, I play CTFs to like test my knowledge. So yeah, that's just my journey in cybersecurity.
Thank you very much for that. I feel like I can relate to the fact that you he said you started learning Python, you learned like different things, and I think that was the same way I started. Started with web development, then HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Then I don't know, cybersecurity was just fascinating, and then I decided to start. And I know that you can learn fast by putting it to practice, by actually making a lot of mistakes, like installing Kali Linux. I remember how I felt when I installed it. You think I was already like into cybersecurity for like 3 years, or maybe I got my first job in cybersecurity. I was really happy because I know it took a lot of effort just installing Kali Linux on a virtual machine. So through these events, I hope to be able to motivate people about cybersecurity. Yes, through them. So for the
When I was
next,
installing my own Kali, I actually spoiled my laptop because I had Windows on it. So I wanted to do dual boot. So I mistakenly deleted the Windows operating system that was on it, and there were like plenty files. So that was like a pain I had to go through. Yes. So,
at least you learned from it. That's like part of
I
it.
learned from it.
Thank you very much for that. So for our next section is a panel section, and the title is Breaking in What Hiring Managers and Recruiters Are Looking For. So we have a speaker from the company from CyberTech Nexus. You'll speak to us about what hiring managers and recruiters are looking for in cybersecurity, how the job market is like. Can we have them?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having us. So I'm the representative for CyberTech Nexus. Like host Tommy said, we are a cybersecurity consulting company. So I'll quickly go into the topic of this session, which is what the um, hiring companies are looking for, cybersecurity professionals. So technically, when you are starting out in your cybersecurity journey, you won't have everything. You'll be confused, and there are a lot of resources there. There will be a lot of topics, uh, pathways that you see can lead to information overload. And the key thing in cybersecurity is choosing a pathway that you can handle properly. So you need to first identify all the pathways that are available in cybersecurity and choose one that you can focus on, because there is a role for each person in cybersecurity. Before I can go into what hiring managers are looking for, so that you can equip yourself while you go into job hunting and into the job market, you need to understand the different roles that are available out there so that you can be able to choose and pick a pathway properly. So need to see cybersecurity in three spectrums, which is the blue team, the red team, and the purple team. So the blue team focuses more on defense, where we have the SOC, Security Operations Center. Then we have the DFIR, those who are into forensics. And then we have the red team. These are people we call the penetration testers and the ethical hackers. What they do is simulate hacking scenarios like the threat actors to uncover vulnerabilities and then report it to the organization so that the vulnerability can be patched so that the threat actors won't be able to use those vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access into the system. Same thing goes for the blue team. So the blue team, they focus more on endpoint protection and monitoring and incident response. So what they do, they ensure that computers, endpoint devices on the network in an organization are secure and have appropriate perimeter defenses set up to avoid these attacks, to make sure it's hard for these attackers to, gain access into the system. And also, in the event of a successful breach, there will be these forensic guys that will be there to study how the breach was played out, how it happened, what made it happen, how was it successful, Then they document all these, find out all they can, so that it won't happen again in the future. So they learn from it. So these are the major roles that these employers are looking for out there in the job market. So when you go probably on LinkedIn, you will see SOC expert needed, and each of these things they have their own certifications. For example, in the red team side, we have people who are into penetration testing, and the certifications that can break you into that pathway. We have the CEH, like some of us know, Security Plus, which is a basic fundamental. We also have the CTN, Cybersecurity Specialist and Engineer. So all these certifications are going to help us break into cybersecurity on the defensive side. Then we come into one of the most important parts or pathways of cybersecurity, because most of the times, what most organizations deal with when it comes to cybersecurity, or what most of these organizations know that cybersecurity is all about, is in the GRC aspect. Most of them don't even know that there are people who perform these hacking services in their system. Probably that would be under the jurisdiction of the CSO, CTO. So what these people at the top, what they care about is policy compliance. So they have audit bodies that come to audit these organizations to ensure that they are compliant, that their ISMS, their information security management systems, are secure. So all the devices, their infrastructure, their software, everything they use, these audit bodies come. They are like they come to check: are you going through? Is every box ticked? Are you compliant to this? Is your system secure? Because when they check all these things and they find out that you are secure, it means that you've checked, like you are now having the baseline protection. You are doing the bare minimum to be secure at least. So these companies must be compliant, and then you need to learn about these compliance policies. So it's kind of like the people who maintain the law, cybersecurity, the GRC people. So you understand all these policies and what it takes to implement them and how to check for them. So that is what GRC is all about: government regulatory and compliance. Because in every region and nationality, we have the data protection law that each organization that deals with user data must abide by. And because failure to do that can lead to heavy fines and jail time, organizations take this seriously, and they are seriously looking for GRC specialists, people who know things in GRC. So, like I said, we have the blue team, red team, purple team, and then finally the GRC aspect. Each of these things these are the pathways when you want to go into cybersecurity. Think, which one do I want to focus on? Which one can I handle? Which one is more technical? Which one is more theoretical? So when you choose this, you then have a pathway to follow, have a certification pathway to pursue. You save up for it, you plan towards it, you work towards it, you learn towards it. You can have an idea of everything, but you can't be an expert in everything. That is why specialization is good, to avoid information overload. So if you are going for the GRC, you have the CTN, GRC architect, engineer, specialist, including IT and cybersecurity. So all these things are there to help you break into cybersecurity in any pathway you want. So if you go to LinkedIn right now, you are going to see and search for cybersecurity rules. You are going to see these things I talked about: the SOC, penetration testing, and mainly the GRC. These are the major things you will see. So these are the things that recruiters are looking for. And so obviously we have to start from something. Start from the beginners level, work on yourself all the way to the advanced and the higher certifications. So this experience is what the recruiters are looking for. So you start from where you can, work on projects, learn, you make sure people know that you are improving by updating your CV, and making your social media presence known, and making sure that you know what you claim to have completed, so that you can always defend your knowledge anywhere. So this is basically it for what recruiters are looking for. Thank you for joining me on the session. Back to you. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for that. So based on what you said, you talked about the different teams in cybersecurity. You spoke about GRC, red team, blue team. And you also said we should start like as beginners. I feel like most people like to rush, like calm down. You will learn this thing, but just start with what you're supposed to learn. So start as a beginner. Then you said we should work on our social media presence too. So it's like you're saying you're into cybersecurity, but everything on your Twitter page or your LinkedIn, there's nothing there about what you're learning. So as you keep improving, if you learn that, okay, what is cybersecurity? Write it there on LinkedIn that I learned about this particular thing today. So it spoke about social media presence, and then you should work on projects because you learn more when you do more. So as you put it into action, you will learn it more. So you said we should work on projects and social media presence. So thank you very much for that. So moving on, also going to have another section, and it is about most our must have the title is must have cybersecurity skills in 2025. That means the important cybersecurity skills in 2025. That means if you are saying, okay, I'm into cybersecurity, what are the skills I'm supposed to have at this time? So, and person I've taken that section is from CyberTech Nexus.
Okay. I believe I've already introduced myself during the last session. So I'm just going to proceed quickly into this session. So you must have cybersecurity skills. I have encountered in my particular scenario, I have encountered people who wanted to break into cybersecurity. In fact, I have closely worked with one and many of them who didn't have the foundational uh, IT knowledge. Cybersecurity is not like um, design, or it's not like creative something where you have to it's easy to just break into without foundational knowledge. You need technical knowledge to an extent to be able to break into cybersecurity. Because, for example, like the first you can say why they are still beginners, common trying to install the Kali Linux operating system is a bit difficult. Now imagine someone who doesn't have technical skills or IT skills trying to do that all by themselves. And if you don't know how to troubleshoot, you are going to run into a lot of problems, and that is the truth. So the most important thing is the uh, IT skills, the technical skills. So you need to be proficient in IT. So you need to know how computers work, basically, before you can learn how to break into them. And that's what cybersecurity is really about. So you need to know how computers work, common problems people face, common problems that these computers can follow through. You need to learn about operating systems and how they work, the commands, and then things you can do with them. And then you need to now understand the common problems and how to troubleshoot them. You need to play around with these systems and know how different uh, uh, aspects of these operating systems work down to their most fundamental levels. You need to learn how users, permissions, all these things work, because then you now know how to implement role-based access control. So you need to learn about file systems. So if these terms I'm saying now are a bit foreign, these IT terms are a bit foreign to you, you can now imagine breaking into cybersecurity without this fundamental IT knowledge. Because even in try hack me or hack the box or whatever, where you go to break into cybersecurity, and they are going to start off with things they assume you should know as a computer user. So you are going to encounter terms, things that might be confusing if you don't have basic IT knowledge. That is why I say the most important thing to have is basic IT knowledge. Because then, even if you encounter a problem, at least you can know the right questions to ask. You can know the right thing to do. You know that, okay, should I do this error message? What does this error message say? This error message says that this file is empty. Then you can now go to look for that file. But imagine not understanding what the error message says. That is why the most fundamental thing is IT knowledge. So must have skills in cybersecurity. Now, if you passed the IT stage and you now have the fundamental IT knowledge, then you decide to break into cybersecurity. The most fundamental thing you need, like I said before, is uh, everything that a beginner needs to know. So you need to take the all-purpose cybersecurity course that teaches you everything in all three sectors of cybersecurity, because you need to understand what all these sectors are all about before you can then choose to specialize. That is why the beginner's module is very, very, very important. Don't skip it. You don't skip networking. You don't skip the terms, understanding the terms. You don't skip Linux fundamentals, because it's obvious if you skip these things, there is no going forward for you. You can't be able to use Kali without learning from Linux fundamentals. You can't be able to hack into system to the network without learning network fundamentals. You can't hack into a website without learning about how the web works, how request works, and how, these basic things are things you need to learn in the beginner module of cybersecurity. And you can get all these with CTN. We have the Security Plus as well. And there are a lot of, and there's also one Google beginner cybersecurity course out there, yeah, which you can start with. So these things are the fundamentals that we need to start. So this is one of the most basic and important skills you need. Then the first and foremost, now that you've broken into cybersecurity, next thing you need is knowledge on security, because the name is cybersecurity. So you need to learn how to secure systems. So that is why most people, they usually begin their journey on the blue team side instead of the offensive side. And most people just decide to remain on the blue team. Why? Because most companies, at least 60% of them, are looking for people on the blue team side. Why? Because cybersecurity is all about security. The red team exists just to simulate the action of threat actors instead of having threat actors do it themselves. These threat actors are the bad hackers we talk about, people who hack into systems for illegitimate purposes. So the red team solely exists just to simulate, just to pretend to be them. So you need to learn about the security, how to monitor systems, how to keep the system safe. What are the basic things you need to do? Good cyber hygiene. So you learn about things like IDS, EDRs, and how to monitor endpoints in the network. So it's in this aspect, this blue team side, and you're going to learn how to use these tools to monitor computers, how to do analysis, forensics, log analysis to understand what's happened in the computer, how to protect it, how to respond to alerts, and how to analyze files to know which one is suspicious. So you're going to learn all these things, how to spot phishing emails, phishing links, how to analyze malware files, and how to protect against them, how to implement firewall rules to prevent users from coming in. You don't need to know how to hack, but just knowing these skills, how to protect the system, is enough to even get you hired. So by having this fundamental skill of learning how to keep endpoints secure, that is good. It's a must have. Every other thing is a secondary, but learning how to keep system secure. This whole thing about cybersecurity is what it's all about. So once you have this skill, you can then decide later to take it a step further and learning how to now simulate the adversary, which is the threat actor, which is the hacker themselves. You can now decide, okay, I want to learn how to now hack into system so that you can now test this computer that I need to secure. I have put antivirus in it, I have put EDRs. Now, if anybody is trying to hack it, you get an alert that, oh, there is a login that has failed or this has happened, and you can easily respond. Get how good your protection is, how good your team respond to phishing emails. After training them, teaching them how to keep the infrastructure secure. Now want to simulate it, shows of data, that's the back. Then people take over to learn, get team operational skills. So you go into penetration testing. And this is where I find a lot of people going into, and the thing is, this is the part that attracts a lot of possibility, because maybe it's going to only depict the side of cybersecurity, but I'm forgetting that cybersecurity is not a whole lot other things. Yeah. When people come in and then realize that they don't just get to quickly hack into systems, it's not as simple. So, yeah, now it's what I say you should understand that first need the basic IT knowledge, IT knowledge of securing before you then go into the IT aspect, try to simulate the adversary. So at this point, you now learn correctly, learn how to hack into systems, you learn how to exploit vulnerabilities. Then, after learning how to exploit vulnerabilities, then go into innovation and bypassing security. Yes, security and operating. But how do you do this? Because antivirus is in the system. You can practice antivirus. I always to do that. Having knowledge of this with the government, things like that codes, where you improving your security level. You see that an attacker can now craft malware that looks like image, fine. And then you learn how to do that. Then teach your team or the organization where you will avoid that this is how the attackers can do it now. Then they up to it. So having these is a skill that you should have. It's not a must have, but it's a skill that you should have. So, so having all this in your arsenal gets you noticed. Gets you noticed. And after this, you can then take it a step further. Then learn about policies and implementation. So when you learn about this, you then learn about the policies, how they are implemented, so that you can be able to ensure that the organization has the baseline security put in place. So this keeps your company or your organization compliant. Like I see, they are like rules, like a little bit like a constitution. This is like the constitution of the internet. The moment you start dealing with people, you follow that this constitution, and then you must obey. You know how to keep the law, you know how to know these laws, you know how to learn these laws, you know how to keep to it, and you know how to enforce it. So there are basic things that should happen. Minimum password learning, rule-based access control, where people who have a certain level of access don't have more than they should to avoid the spread of attacks. Then attacks, and then if out of the bits, then go into forensics and recovery practices. So you need to learn forensics, recovery, disaster recovery. Wherein, in the event of a successful breach, how do you cover? How do you get the organization up and running again? Will everything just be destroyed and gone just because it has been hacked? So you need to learn how to have a backup setup, how to recover quickly and on time to ensure that things get done smoothly. Now imagine you having every skills in the world, these skills to asset, able to secure, able to hack, able to recover, and also able to implement uh, policy compliance. These are the skills you should have. Like I said, the most fundamental is basic IT, beginners in cybersecurity, then secure system, that's the built-in innovation. So these are the skills that you should and must have in cybersecurity. Thank you very much. Have the next session. What do you think?
Thank you very much for that. I noticed that you spoke a lot about technical skills. So what about the soft skills? Because apart from just knowing about Linux, penetration testing, there are some soft skills that we also have to learn. Master.
Yes, you need to learn how to that is what you do. You're doing a lot of reporting, doing a lot of talking to people, you're writing reports on what happened, what went. I need to be able to report it in plain terms to stakeholders who don't understand cybersecurity and cybersecurity. Need to be able to report it properly to them. So this is one of the most important soft skills you need in cybersecurity. You need to write and report properly.
Thank you very much. So you said communication skills, and then you write a lot of reports. Yes, right. And also to explain like complex terms in cybersecurity to people that don't even know anything about cybersecurity. Thank you very much for that. So I'm sure you have been hearing a lot of cybersecurity terms. I might be wondering that, okay, I'm just a beginner. I don't even know. I've not heard about malware before. I don't even know what malware means. I don't know what penetration testing means. And eventually we'll get to that because we have a lot of questions. But then for the next section, I think beginners will relate to this a lot. So it is transitioning to cybersecurity from other fields. And I'll be taking it with Fei Shayo. Please, can you confirm if you can hear me, Fei Shayo?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so thank you very much. So like I said before, the topic is transitioning to cybersecurity from other fields. So let's just say you have been hearing a lot about cybersecurity and you're wondering that, okay, I'm studying, let's say, microbiology, or I'm doing biochemistry, or I'm in the medical line, or maybe you are studying mass comm, or just something completely different from that, from cybersecurity, and you want to transition into cybersecurity, you want to start learning about cybersecurity. So I'm talking about the steps, like practical things, how you can start, things that you need to do to really get into cybersecurity. So to make it more interactive, I'll be asking Felicia some questions, and I also answer these questions myself. But just to throw the question at him, what field were you in before getting into cybersecurity, and what made you to switch?
Yeah, so for me, I was not in any field actually. I mentioned earlier that I got admission into university as a cybersecurity student or in cybersecurity. So I was not in any previous field before.
But you picked cybersecurity as your course. That means you already knew that you wanted to study cybersecurity.
Yes.
So you said you were not in any field before. So for me, I'm currently studying computer science. And so I think before this, I think I decided to even go into tech when I was in, I think, SS3. So before that, I wanted to study pharmacy, just different career paths like that that were just running through my mind. So before that, so eventually I got to tech, and that time I said, oh, I want to be a software developer. Because I thought that was like the major thing about being in tech, because I was not informed enough. So I started with software development, started with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I was even learning Python at one point. But then the whole cybersecurity thing was just fascinating. You know, the way in movies, you just have the way they used to act and everything. So I will not lie, that was what made me start cybersecurity. I was like, let me find out, what are these people doing? How can I get to this system? But then getting into cybersecurity, I realized that, okay, it's like very complex, but then it's also very interesting. You have some parts that are boring, but then getting into it, you know that, okay, because it's like you're discovering new things, learn how to build websites, learn how to exploit them, look for vulnerabilities in them, and different things like that. So what made me switch from software development to cybersecurity? Like I said before, it was fascinating. So Feyi Shayo, at the beginning, what was the most confusing part about cybersecurity for you?
Okay, the most confusing part in cybersecurity for me was me choosing the part that I want to specialize in. So cybersecurity is a very broad space. So as at the time that I was doing my research, you just search for cybersecurity, you just see cybersecurity analyst. So I was like, what do analysts do? Like, what do they really do? Is it that everybody in cybersecurity are analysts or their other fields? So I got to gain knowledge about other fields, other area of specialization in cybersecurity. So the confusing part was now me choosing the one that I actually want to do. Maybe I want to be a penetration tester, or I want to be a SOC analyst, or I want to be a digital incident, maybe an incident responder or a forensic analyst. So that was like the confusing part for me.
So thank you very much. I think that was also the confusing part for me, because I started cybersecurity and like I was just consuming a lot of information, just picking information from one point to another. So I did not have any roadmap of just learning anything. I was just very interested in it at that point. And the disadvantage of going into cybersecurity without a roadmap is that you just consume like even information that are not even necessary. So it will save a lot of time if you have like a roadmap. You know that, okay, I'm supposed to start with introduction to cybersecurity. You have to learn about networking, to learn about the fundamentals of Linux, then maybe pick a career path based on what you enjoy doing or what you think you might, because you might go into maybe SOC analysis now, and you know that, okay, I don't really enjoy this. Let me try penetration testing. So just go like that. You can move from maybe one career path to another, and then you know that, okay, I'm sticking with this one. So having a roadmap will save a lot of time because you already know where you're heading to. And even if you get lost at the middle, because an advantage of consuming a lot of information is that, okay, I knew that, okay, I'm not supposed to do this, or now I can talk about the fact that you should learn in this particular way, just because I made a lot of mistakes and I will not want anybody else to make that mistake. But I learned through those mistakes. So you make a lot of mistakes. So if you are a beginner, get a roadmap. We'll also talk about resources and roadmaps that you can use in this meeting today. So you get a roadmap. You know that you're supposed to start from this point. I'm supposed to move to this topic. This should be the next topic I should learn about. And other things like that. Just basically be very inquisitive and want to learn more. So the next question is, did you ever feel like you did not belong, or you were not technical, or did you feel like you were not technical enough? Did you learn something and then you're like, oh, cybersecurity is too hard, let me just drop it, or do I even think I can learn it? Do you ever feel that way?
Yeah. So for me, like I do pen testing, like when I was learning penetration testing. So there are some stuffs that you want to learn, or there are some stuffs that you see and you'll be like, guy, what am I doing with my life? Like, what is this? Because if you go to Twitter now, or if you go to any social media, maybe LinkedIn, you see somebody that is saying he's a 17-year-old boy, and you see the kind of exploits that is writing. So I'll be like, guy, what am I doing in my life? Like, can I ever be this kind of person? Can I get to this stage? So yeah, I've felt like that. So anytime I'm feeling like that, one thing I do is I would just like take a break. Yeah, I'll take a break, maybe like 2 days or 3 days. I'll take a break from learning anything. So after taking a break, I would have like a reason. I'll surely have a reason to come back. Maybe somebody will just come in that let's jump on this together, or there is a CTF somewhere, or there is something I need to work on. So I would surely jump back. So I'll just take a break and I would come back to learning again.
Thank you very much. I think it's very important that when you're learning cybersecurity, you should maybe involve other people in a way. Maybe you know somebody else that is learning cybersecurity. So that on days that you feel like, oh, you're not enough, or you're not doing enough, or you are seeing that this person is just you have just seen posts from this particular person on Twitter, and it's like, oh, I found this vulnerability in this website, found SSRF, broken access control, things like that. And then I feel like, okay, am I not learning the right thing? Or am I even wasting my time? So it's very important for you to have somebody that, can, maybe you're not vulnerable. I'm not saying you have to be vulnerable to the person, or person is just checking up on you like regularly and telling you, okay, have you learned this thing? Or I think one thing that's really helped me is that there are people that, I don't know, maybe they have faith in me. So much faith that maybe I've not even seen it yet. But then they're like, okay, help me solve this problem. Or what do you understand by this thing? Even if I don't know it, like, okay, this person thinks I know this thing. Let me learn it. Or let me try to explain to this person. So that has been really helpful. So, and another thing is admit it. You don't know this thing, or you are finding it difficult. Just be very honest with yourself. You don't know this particular thing in cybersecurity. I'm seeing this person making different posts about it. Let me learn it too. It's not, person does not have two heads. Let me learn this thing too. So as you're seeing like different posts from the person, and you're feeling like the person is oppressing you, just admit it to yourself that you don't know it. But then you can still learn. You're not in a competition with anybody. So I think that is really helpful. So another question is, which learning resource or course actually clicked for you? Like after doing it, we're like, cybersecurity is for me.
Yeah, okay. So when I was starting actually, so I started with this Cisco skills for all. So I was just doing some theory learning, network, just theories about cybersecurity. So later on, I found out TryAcme. Yeah, so TryAcme was like the platform that I would recommend to anybody that wants to learn cybersecurity. If you come to me that you want to learn cybersecurity, I'll just tell you, go and open a TryAcme account and sit down with it. So I stayed with TryAcme for like 2 to 3 years. Yeah. So TryAcme is like it is a very, very good platform. It is a platform that you learn. After learning, you can practice. There are labs that you can practice, and you can even compete with each other. So they have like this game, King of the EUs. I remember back then, me and Paul would say, we let's play King of the Use. We challenge ourselves that we are now first to root the machine or first to hack the machine. So TryAcme is the platform that I would recommend. And after learning stuff on TryAcme, yeah, so you can move to Hack the Box. So Hack the Box is also another resourceful platform, but it is not that beginner friendly. Yeah. So if you go to Hack the Box first, you might find it hard, because for me, I actually found it hard. It was hard. So I came back to TryAcme, then after learning stuff on TryAcme, then I switched to Ask the Box.
Thank you very much for that. I think for me, I started with I started with the introduction to cybersecurity course. Then I did this Google cybersecurity course. I think it was after that I was like, oh, this thing is like really interesting. So I would recommend that course for anybody that is about to start the Google cybersecurity specialization course, because it will touch every single aspect of cybersecurity that you need to know. It doesn't really have a lot of practical aspects. So for the practical aspects, you can use TryAcme and then Hack the Box. I use Portswigger Academy because I'm into web application security. So when you want to start, like as you're starting, you can start with the Google Cybersecurity course because I think it's beginner friendly. So you understand a lot of things. Yeah. And so it's after that course that I found out, okay, I really want to go into cybersecurity. So I think next question is, how did you figure out which part of cybersecurity to focus on? Like how were you able to pick one out of the many options?
Okay, so for me, it was just there's this thing I did when I actually wanted to choose a part. So I made a research on different parts in cybersecurity. After making those research, so I now went to YouTube and I did a day in the life of a SOC analyst, a day in the life of a penetration tester. So yeah, that was what I did that made me choose my path. And I feel like anybody that wants to choose a path to should actually do the same. So you make research on all the parts in cybersecurity and you do like a day in the life of a SOC analyst, a day in the life of an incident responder. So after watching the video, you will know the one that suits you the most, the one you can adapt to it, and the one you like. So that was what I did.
So thank you very much. So you might not know which one to pick, but just like do a lot of research, watch YouTube videos, and even follow cybersecurity professionals that are in like a particular field, and then try to check their post, or like you said, a day in the life of maybe a penetration tester, a day in the life of security engineer. Just basically, you're trying to watch the things they do so that you know, okay, if you want to become just like them or even better than them. So thank you very much for that. So what is one thing that you wish you knew before starting cybersecurity?
So one thing I wish I knew before was I wish I had a roadmap earlier, yeah, before I got into school. So that was one thing I wish I had before, because before I got into school, before I met these guys, I was just learning anyhow. Just I learn Nmap today, tomorrow I'll go and learn one of that rubbish that they don't join together. Yeah. So if I had roadmap, I would know where to start from and where I'm going to. So that way it will be much faster and I might be better now. Who knows?
Yes. Like I said before, it's very fast for you to start with roadmap. And also, I've seen a lot of posts about people saying cybersecurity is not entry level. You have anything to say about that? Like they said, cybersecurity is not entry level field. That's just if you're a beginner, just run away.
I think what I have to say is I would not say it is a lie and I will not say it is true. So cybersecurity is not an entry level, because before you get a job in cybersecurity, you need to know your onions very, 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 very well, because they'll just pursue you and say, come and be going to your house. So you need to know what you are doing very, very well. For example, now if you are a penetration tester, if you are going for a job interview or you are looking out for a job, they would ask you that, okay, what kind of experience do you have? I knew that they are just learning cyber security, like you don't have any experience. What will you tell them? So I would just what will you tell them? So what I would recommend is that you create your own labs. Yeah, create your own labs where you can practice cybersecurity, because from an ethical hacker perspective now, from a penetration tester perspective, for you to like practice what you learned, you need to like touch real life things. And if you go and touch any websites that they do not send you message, to come and carry you in your house, before you know, they don't lock you up. So you have to like create your own labs. And yeah, you can do this VDP, yeah, vulnerability disclosure program. So there's one platform that I know that does that. Yes, we are. So you can practice on VDPs and also bug bounty programs, so that if you are going for those interviews, you can tell them that, oh, I've done this. I have my own labs. I've created this. I've pen tested this, and I also act on platforms like bug bounty. So that way, you actually have an experience that you can offer to them. Hello, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you very much for that. Yes, what we're just trying to say is that as a beginner, yes, you can get started in cybersecurity. You can transition from another field entirely. Might be into finance, maybe healthcare, something that has to do with law, retail, teaching, and stuff like that. So yes, you can move into cybersecurity. I'm just trying to say that okay, it will not be very easy, but then it is possible. The thing about cybersecurity is that beyond just technical skills, just like Isaac as mentioned earlier, we also need soft skills. Communication skills is really important. So you do a lot of thinking, critical thinking. You have to pay attention to details because you're working on a website. You're trying to look for vulnerability in that website. You can work on your website for months, for weeks, just using different tools to look for vulnerabilities in that website. You have to check for the files in the website, look at the JavaScript code. Just basically, you have to have a lot of patience. Yes, like really important. So I said critical thinking, attention to detail, communication, risk assessment, and things like that. So that's like the first one that you have to learn about it well. And anybody you can transition into cybersecurity. And you can also learn fast with practical action. So you can start with some beginner-friendly courses, then move to the practical learning with the Try Acme or Hack the Box and things like that. So you network, you find mentors. This is really important when you're learning cybersecurity. To learn it with somebody else or to have somebody else as your mentor. Might not necessarily be close with the person. Maybe you can just ask the person a question at any time, or you might just even be observing the person from a distance. And you're checking the person's post, you're seeing how the person is learning and things like that. So, and your social media presence is really important. Like, update your CV, your LinkedIn. As you're learning something, keep writing about it. Because in cybersecurity, you write a lot of reports. So, as you're already writing about things you learned, it's like in a way you are learning you are getting better in writing. So, yes, write a lot of blog posts, even have to maybe work on some projects and push it to GitHub just so that you have evidence that, okay, I'm actually learning this thing. So yes, it is possible to learn, to start cybersecurity. So as we continue, now I'll be talking a lot about roadmap, about learning paths, resources that you can use to start. So I would like to add over to, actually, two people are going to talk to us about the roadmap and then resources. I would like Chika to go first, then Ekong, because we are talking a lot about resources, roadmap. What does this? So can everybody hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Imelcom, a member of the core team of GDG Babcock, and with me, I'm going to be presenting the session on the roadmap and listening about cybersecurity. Chika, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, can anyone hear me? Hello, good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can
Yes.
you hear you?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Chika Ngamkasi. A penetration tester and a backend developer. Okay, so we may continue.
Okay, so we're basically going to be starting with what basically sparked our interests, our struggles, and how we finally found direction, or how we're still finding direction. To me, what sparked my interest in cybersecurity was just like Tommy was just speaking down. She said, "Have a mentor, have someone that." Mine was just I wanted to be like someone. You know, when there was this career fair program that we had in when we were in 200 level. I think my department hosted it. Then Miliki was the president, and he was the GDG lead then. And then there's this guy, and there were a set of guys. They had a panel session, and I was like, "Oh, fuck! Who are these guys? These guys are advanced. I mean, they were just students, but like I could see the level of interest and work they put into themselves. And I was like, I want to be like these guys. And you see Mileki posting stuff on his Twitter. Then he was into cybersecurity very well. So I was like, I want to be like this guy. Who is this guy? Like, why is he so professional at this stage, at this level? And then I met someone else, Issa, a friend, and he was like, he just put me through. That was how I started. I just saw people. And I was like, I want to be like them. It wasn't that I didn't even have any interest in cybersecurity. I just saw them and I wanted to be like them. And then my early struggles were just like everyone here has mentioned. You're going in, the field is a very, very broad, a very vast field. So I had series of information overloads. Sometimes you just feel like giving up and all that. Chika, you should share your own interest, how you came about cybersecurity.
All right, everyone. Good evening once again. So mine was something that I've been interested in since childhood, because I used to see all these hacking movies. I used to see this one. Next thing you hear, this morning, I'm like, okay, you're in where? How come? How did you go about this? So that sparked my interest. And then when I entered university, there's this guy, this YouTuber called Network Truck, and David Bomber. They usually carry out hacks, walkthroughs, how they go about stuff. And I was like very interested. On top of that, I will not be seeing different news on YouTube, on Google. Russian hackers have done this, Iranian hackers have done this, Chinese hackers have done this, and very interesting stuff. So I'm like, okay, these guys, people are actually doing crazy stuff in this cyber security. Let me even go and see what all the hype is about. So then I left. I was doing Python, then transition to C++. I'm like, let me just leave these two and go and see what the cybersecurity is about. And from there, I used to tell Tumi and another of my guy, Faisal, that my own learning part in cybersecurity was rugged, because I'll pick knowledge from this place, learn different steps from this place. So mine was rugged. I was just intrigued. I was just interested about all the whole everything. Because then I got to work with different tools, Metasploit, which one again? There's this one that is used for SQL injection on Kali. So I was just interested, I was just intrigued. I just kept on. In fact, at some point, I left school work and I was just going at it, going at it, going at it. From there, I got this role at this company, a volunteer role. I saw a message on a WhatsApp group, and then I volunteered, and that was it. So I finally got to carry out all those things I've been bottling back. I finally got to carry it out on the system and everything within the provided scope, of course. So that's my own journey. You may continue, Kong.
Okay, so you may ask, why is a roadmap needed in cybersecurity? Like I said before, the field is a very, very vast, very broad one. There's blue team, there's red team, there's GRC, there are other fields, there's AppSec, there's malware analysis. I mean, once you go in, you just feel like you're just jumping from one thing to another, and then you just get hooked up, you feel pressured, and you might not want to continue again. But then this is what will make you different from other people. I'll just introduce something like a three-phase roadmap. The first phase will be foundations. Like Tommy said, if you're venturing into cybersecurity, she really recommend the Google Intro to Cybersecurity course. Why? Because that one is, bro, that one puts you on, that one gives you the foundations, the fundamentals of cybersecurity. You get to go through the whole networking, operating systems, fundamentals, and all that. It just makes you have a general knowledge of cybersecurity. And then there are several resources for each of these basic knowledge you have. Like the networking now, you can, like others have mentioned, you can go into Try Hack Me. Like for the operating systems, there are, as you keep learning, even in that Try Hack Me, you learn about operating systems, you learn about networking. But in cybersecurity, the Google course, that is where you have very foundational knowledge, where you have knowledge about the CIA, you have knowledge about threats, you have knowledge about core principles, you have knowledge about basic fundamental things you need to know, like threats, risk, vulnerabilities, all that. I mean, that's just the first phase, foundations, so that you just go through the whole part of cybersecurity. Then the second phase is like where you explore and specialize after you find an interest. I mean, when I was doing the Google course, I happened to like learn about a lot of things in, especially in that first course. I learned about playbooks and all that. And then on one part like that, I stumbled upon where they give a scenario of an incident, a digital forensic case, and all that. I was like, this seems intriguing. This seems very intriguing. And then that was how I just, wanted to look into it. But before that, I'll just share a little experience. Before that, I was, like others would say, I was fucking around. I was just going around different things, cybersecurity. I happened to go into red team, penetration testing. I did over the wire. I did web vulnerabilities. That was on Portswigger. I mean, the only difference between you and others that are doing this thing is that others, they are venturing into all these aspects randomly. But now you need to have this mentality that, okay, it's okay for me to have a vast knowledge of it. But now what you do is, as you're exploring with a purpose. Like I think Isaac was speaking. He said Isaac said Isaac said when he was exploring, or was it Isaac or someone? Someone said when he was exploring, he went to watch YouTube videos. He went to watch YouTube videos on a day in the life of a security analyst, of an SOC analyst, of engineers and all that. I mean, that's just one aspect. It's okay to feel intrigued. It's okay to feel curious in cybersecurity. I mean, you just go through different things. But the different what keeps you different from others is that you're doing it with a purpose. You're going through these various aspects. You're going deep into them. Why? Just because you want to have a knowledge of how they are and if they are compatible with you. If you would like to venture into them. That's the difference between you and other people that are just going around, because them they will feel like they have information overload. That's a very, very common thing in cybersecurity, where you have information overload and you feel you can't go further again. But this one, you're doing it with a purpose. Do you guys understand? You're doing it with a purpose. So you know that one day, at the end of the day, you find the one you're interested in, and then you specialize. That's where from that phase, that's where you're done with the second phase, once you've picked what you want to specialize in. And then the third phase will be the part where you do projects, you build, you showcase, you do certifications. When you pick a particular field, I've not really picked a particular field. I'm still going around. I'm still doing right now I'm into digital forensic analysis. I'm still going around. But the more you do this, the more you pick your interest, and then you chase certifications for them. You feel better, and you feel like you've accomplished something, rather than getting an ethical hacking course. You get the certification, then you go back, you say you want to do blue team. You just feel like you're running into cul-de-sacs. Like you don't have a purpose, you don't have a direction, because you're just doing different things, and you feel like there's too much knowledge for you to get. But when you go around with a purpose, and then after going around, you pick what your interest is, and then you get certificates on it, you specialize, you do projects, you build based on that interest. I think that's where you have that's where you land basically. Chika, I think you can share the resources for each part, and you can share your
Um,
interests.
okay. Just to add to what you said before sharing, just to add to what my partner said, Ekong. So during my journey, I found out that okay, during my IT placement, I found out that okay, because before cybersecurity, I was all hyped up about networking too. I was very interested IP addressing and all, but then I found out that nah, this is not what I want to do. I think I would love the software and the coding part, the bug bounty aspects. So bug bounty is about companies list some aspect of their services, and then people go there, try to hack it, then provide detailed reports on it. So I found out okay, I think I like this idea better. So I ventured into backend development, specifically APIs, creating them, see how they facilitate communication between the front end and the database. So I'll try and share my screen now. Just wanted to put it out there. So to add to what Ekong said, have the parts of learning. Okay, so I can't share screen. Tommy,
Yes.
please can you provide grant me access to share screen?
Please hold on. Okay, so I think you can send it to our group chat. Yes, like on WhatsApp, while we are still trying to figure out how to share your screen.
I didn't get what you said.
Okay, so I said you can eventually send it to the group chat on WhatsApp, or you can paste it on the chat. Yes, because I don't think you'll be able to share your screen.
Okay, from there you then share it to those. All right, I will share that.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ekong and Chika, for that. Really learned a lot from it. You've spoken to us about how important is it to start with a roadmap. So we have a lot of questions here for every speaker. For every speaker. Oh, okay. Ekong, you can go on if you still have something to add.
Okay, thank you. Lastly, what we just wanted to share was it's very, very, very important that you get a plan, a personal learning plan, even if it's a study board, even if it's a timetable, even if it's 1 hour you're assigning to cybersecurity every day. I mean, progress is very important. Achieving something every day is very important rather than just waiting and looking at the future where you must have achieved everything, because that used to happen to me. I feel like I would just imagine where I have all these certifications and I'm like one of these big or great cybersecurity experts. It doesn't happen that way. You just calm down, you learn one thing every day, and then you progress. And also, it's very important to join communities. It's very important to know people. It's very important to have a role model. Yeah, like Tommy said before, it's very important to have a role model or mentor, someone that can just put you on. Like me, my role model then was Mileke, the BCC president then, because he was very good at what he did. And my mentor then was Issa, because I was very close to Issa. I was closer to him than Mileke. And he used to put me on different things. He introduced me to Hack the Box. He introduced me to Over the Wire and all that. But it's very important to join communities. Why? Because you have access to resources easier. I remember getting all my virtual box machines and tools, extra tools, extensions from Issa. everything just made everything easier. And it just made everything easier and all that. But it's very important to have people around you. There's one of my guys, Chino. It was something I was trying to do one day and I couldn't do it. And I called him. It was just a casual call. And all of a sudden, he put me on a Google Meet call for, we stayed there for over an hour, learning how to go through one thing. That was how I learned. And lastly, whenever you're thrown into situations where you don't know what to do in cybersecurity, don't feel like, don't have imposter syndrome where you feel like you're not worthy of what you can achieve or what you have achieved or something. Just try to engage, try to learn. Everybody came from somewhere. So don't feel like you're less. That's very important. If someone asks you a question, it's not because they want to make you feel less, but it's because they feel you know it. Like Tommy said before, they feel you know it. And then you just try to learn on that thing and teach them. Though that was how I started learning a lot of things in cybersecurity. You just someone will ask me something. I might not know it, but just because I want to answer the person, I'll just go and ask ChatGPT or go to different learning resources. I mean, those things might feel minute, they might feel little, but trust me, they add to your learning, your knowledge span and all that. That's just what I wanted to say. Communities are very important. Be curious, always learn. You see something you don't understand, learn it. Just be very curious and have composure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does Chika have anything to add to it?
Nothing much, just to put icing on the cake.
Okay.
Be curious, just like Ekong said. Find those also doing what you're doing. Go online, look for forums, join them. Go on YouTube. Trust me, the hacking stories out there, they are crazy. And you'll be like, are these ones too? Are they the same human beings? Are we same human beings on this planet? Do these ones have two brains? Because when you listen to all these hacking stories out there, they are crazy. These guys, these government agencies, they're not joking around. Different exploits every day. There was one I worked with that gains access, as I think when I started, that gains access to Windows 7. Eternal Blue, yes. So this exploits was developed by Israel, USA, UK, and other countries. Their intelligence agencies. They all came together. Okay, how do we mess up Iran's nuclear program? They're like, okay, we can't go full brutal physical attack on them. We can't do this. Okay, well, why don't you develop a software that will make it seem like on the surface everything is going well, but on the bottom things are really going bad? And that was it. They developed Eternal Blue and they really wrecked them. In fact, they didn't even know what hit them. It came as a shock. So you go online, you listen to all these stories, different things out there. These guys they're not joking around, basically. So just look for those doing what you're doing. That's how I also joined this GDG Cybersecurity Babcock platform. Find those in communities, and trust me, the more you share what you're doing, the better for you, because you go higher and your knowledge gets expanded. So thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So I just even remembered something, that there was this particular day that my dad sent a link for me to apply to a job, to a cybersecurity role. And then I just told him that, oh, I don't even have my BSc yet, that I'm not qualified for it. So he just said, oh, I just sent it for you to check the job description. And so since that day, when I see a particular role and I know that, okay, I'm not qualified for this role, but let me see what they are looking for. So they are looking for someone that knows um about maybe web development. Then you have to know about penetration testing, the defensive and offensive side of cybersecurity. So it's like I'll read through the job description. I'll know that, okay, this is what recruiters are looking for. This is what these companies are looking for. Let me learn this thing. Like if you want to be a penetration tester, you look for a lot of job roles, like companies that are hiring penetration testers, and then you see it there, that you see the post, you see the job description, what they expect you to know, what they expect you to have. I think in that way too, you can tailor your learning. But you know that companies look for people that know this particular tool or things like that. So I think that will really help a lot, because even if you are not qualified yet, but you are working towards that. Thank you very much. So like I said before, we have a lot of questions here. So I think we've spoken a lot about roadmap, and then we've spoken a lot about the roadmap to follow. Yes. So Chika said he has sent it to the group chat. So we've spoken a lot about the roadmap, and then spoken about the necessary course, the skills, the tools, and knowledge that you need to start. So there's a question here that how does one start to learn penetration testing? So I think we've also talked about that. Get a roadmap, and then it's still under cybersecurity. So there are still some cybersecurity fundamentals that you need to know. And okay, someone said, is there a way to figure out the right path? Chika, please, do you have an answer? Do you want to answer that question?
All right. So to figure out
Sorry,
your
before you
yeah,
answer, sorry, there's one other question that's similar to it. That is it necessary to learn as many aspects of cybersecurity, or can I just pick one and stick to it?
okay. First one is how do you figure out your road path, and second one is do I need to learn everything? Okay, so first
Yes.
of all is okay. So first of all is you're going to ask yourself, what do I enjoy doing? What do I like doing? What type of person am I? Do I like breaking stuff? Do I like understanding how things work? And you're going to ask yourself these questions. Based on those questions, you then figure out your next move. Like for someone like me now, when I was in 200 level, I was like, I don't like coding. I don't like coding. Let me just break into stuff. I don't. Why would I be building stuff when people out there will be breaking it? I'm like, okay, let me be the one to break stuff. Let me not be the one on the receiving end. So from there, I got into pen testing. I downloaded Linux initially. In fact, we had this course that involved virtualization. So from there, I learned about virtualization without even knowing about Linux then. So then I installed Linux and then I found out that, okay, I think I'm liking this stuff. And then that was it. Why would I be building stuff when someone is out there breaking it and they are making cool cash? Yeah. So I went into pen testing. And that's it basically. But then later on, my current level now, I'm like, okay, why don't I understand how this thing works before even breaking it? So I got into backend development, trying to understand what's the logic behind them, what are the configurations, what are the different things involved. If I do it like this, will anything happen? If I do it like this, will anything spoil? If I do it like this, is it the most secure part? I'm just trying to understand every the whole process, how it works, so I can better exploit it later on. Because honestly, no knowledge is a waste. So the more you learn, the more you know, okay, this is how I break. Because back then I was just, okay, this tool does this, let me fire. In fact, there was a time I used to download PHP scripts. I didn't even understand what I was looking at. I'll carry the code like that, paste it into, after cloning it from GitHub, I'll paste it on GPT. How far help me reprogram this to do so task. But then I was not understanding anything. Nothing. I was just, if it works, it works. In fact, I didn't even know if it worked or not. My own was just go and do what I said. Clone from GitHub, put it on GPT, ask it to do this. Majority of the time, in fact, 98% it didn't work. 2%, that was when it worked on one or two occasions. But then there's need to understand what you're learning about, what you want to do for you to be able to break it. You understand first. You cannot come and be solving equations without understanding how to solve the equation. You get, so that's it basically. And then you don't need to, for the second question, you don't need to study everything. You get overwhelmed. Maybe you can just look at it. Okay, the definitions, the career paths. Just look at the different things there. Okay, this is what this person does. This is what this career path does. Then okay, I think I might like this one. Just maybe you can give it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, little, and then you find out, okay, I think this is what I want to do before, because if you start doing everything, you feel like you've not done anything. But by the time you see your meter progressing into so level, like okay, you feel like your life, you are just playing with yourself. Yeah, so just maybe give it maybe a week, a month, look at different career paths, the pay. Because honestly, pay is very important. If you're doing something and you're not getting paid well, you will not be motivated to move on, to continue further into it. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I think said something. You said you are into penetration testing, and then when you started going really deep into it, you found out that okay, you should learn about maybe about web development. Because now today if you ask me that okay, I want to learn penetration testing. After I tell you to learn like cybersecurity, basics of cybersecurity, and then about networking, I'll just say it's also learn web development a little, because when you go deep into penetration testing, you are learning how to exploit websites. You have to understand how the websites are built, how to analyze JavaScript code. You also said something about PHP. So things like that. You don't need to be as good as a developer, but then you just need to really understand how the websites are built. So yes, thank you very much for that. So I want to ask Fisayo a question. So one of the questions there is, how do I study and understand networking better? Because I think networking is really broad. So how do I understand and study networking better?
Okay. So one of the ways that you can understand networking better is try not to learn from one source or one teacher. So if you learn from me today, you can come to me to come and learn tomorrow. So that way, both of us have different ways of teaching stuff. So you would learn better that way. And yeah, so you can also try and practice what you've learned and try to, how will I put this now? Yeah, try to practice what you've learned and try to see how they work real life. So after learning what is networking from teacher A, go to teacher B and see what is networking. Then you can go to maybe teacher C. Maybe teacher C now has a video on how networking is. That's a way I feel like you can learn networking better.
Okay, so we should learn from different sources. Thank you very much. So to Ekong, the question here is how to be consistent with cybersecurity after failed or unfinished tutorials. So you know the way you can go to maybe Cisco, learn, you will not finish this course. Udemy, like a lot of courses. Even me too, I'm guilty of this. I have a lot of unfinished courses there. Just like I'm picking from different places. So how can somebody deal with that? Like how to stay consistent after failed or unfinished tutorials?
Okay, like I said before, if you're looking at it from a far side, you will not finish anything. That's the truth. But if you're just looking at the next thing ahead of it, you can go further. When you're um, trying to achieve something like a certificate or something, a course, you don't go looking for how to gain the whole course. You just try to get each next module, each next topic. That's just it. That's just it. That's what works for me. You have to, and then your mentality has to be simple. You have to train your mind. Thing is, it's okay for the body to feel uninterested after a long time. You don't need to spend too much time to feel like you've achieved something. A little thing a day is enough. The brain has a chimp. The chimp wants to enjoy. The chimp wants to sleep. The chimp wants to eat. The chimp wants to play. But you have to tell that chimp that just give me 1 hour, just give me 30 minutes. Let me look at this, and then you get whatever you want to get. But if you just ignore it and then you start, you don't set a time limit, you don't set a time frame, and then you start. At the point you just close up, you just feel like you're not and nothing is entering your head because your mind is not there. But if you're doing 30 minutes every day, at the point your body will become accustomed to the whole process. When you tell your mind it's just 1 hour now. But before that, you have to sleep. You have to do everything that leads to it so that you don't feel tired when you're doing it. If your body needs rest, rest. Your body needs water, take water. If you need to take a shit, take a shit. But all these things might feel very, very minute. They might feel like they don't matter. But all these things contribute to being consistent, honestly. take it step by step. That's what I have to say.
Thank you very much. I remember when I started learning, I think at the beginning of this year, I started with bug bounty on team. And then that time, I think I was just sleeping for like 3 hours every day. Then I felt sick. I could not even open my laptop for like 1 week. That was how sick I was because I was not listening to my body. I just wanted to learn it. So it's like eventually I had to calm down. Like, okay, then so you can, like you said, rest, take a lot of rest. And also, I think people talk a lot about this 5 minutes rule, or you can make your own 3 hours rule. You want to start something, you're like, okay, let me just give myself 20 minutes to do this thing, just 20 minutes. And then you find out that, okay, from that 20 minutes, you can even move on to like 40 minutes, then 1 hour. But just really start, just learn how to be disciplined with it. And if a particular tutorial, if it is you're not interested in it, or if you don't understand it, like Fisayo said, you can learn from different sources. Just move around. So, okay, I think we've talked about the best way to tackle cybersecurity as a beginner. You can start with courses. So, to Isaac, I want to ask this question. So, when applying for an internship in Nigeria, what companies can I apply to?
Okay, well, for internship, there are a lot of companies out there where you can apply to, but you need to target tech companies that will require your skill. Though it's not as common to see companies have taken in interns for cybersecurity as it is you see for um, developers or designers. It's not as common because they don't let interns touch their critical infrastructure, because hacking is something that is critical. It's not some. It's not. You don't um, build or create as supposed to being a developer. Here you break things, and so it needs to be done with care. So you can apply. There are a lot of cybersecurity companies uh, available both here in Nigeria and abroad. For example, one you have CTN, the one that is our guest speaker for this meeting, CyberTech Nexus. You have, I think I know NorSec X. There is Exploit Forge. These cybersecurity companies are always willing to take in interns. I personally, I know of a lot of them that are taking interns, both skilled, especially Cyblack. If you know Cyblack, they have a cohort every year. So they take in cohorts, they graduate, they get their certificates, and they learn a lot of things. There's also one for the ladies, the Cyber Girls organization. So all these things, and they help you in networking as well. So when it comes to cybersecurity, there are dedicated companies for that. Dedicated companies that are taking cybersecurity related people so that you'll be able to practice your skills. So it's not something it's not as rampant as companies for developers or designers. So, but the good thing with our own side is that when you get into these companies, you get to learn a lot and you meet a lot of people, that you get resources and learn with. Unlike the others where you might get ignored, or getting into them is a bit harder. But this one, they are more welcoming. In fact, I know of Cyblack, they have a wide window to accept a large range of students each year. So these companies are available. You can even search up more online. But they're always there to take in interns for beginners.
Okay, so thank you very much. I want to ask you another question. How feasible is it to navigate the industry in a short amount of time? And how soon can I get a job?
Well, in cybersecurity, to be honest, getting a job is not as easy as it is you see in other. That is why dedication. You need to love cybersecurity before you even get into it. That's why dedication is necessary. If you, for example, if you're a designer, you can learn your designing and then you go on Upwork, you see a design gig, you apply, you get it. You It's not the same for cybersecurity. You don't People don't go on there and say hack my website or hack my computer. You see how it sounds. For example, you are creating something, a website, you don't, except you are aiming for, compliance. For example, you are aiming for a compliance certificate that ensures that your website is safe because you are now a big organization or something, or people are now looking into how secure your website is. That is when most people will even care about their security and then just do it for formality's sake. On a default, a lot of people don't really care. They just hire developers, they build, they use, they launch. Even secure testing and secure software development most of the time is not implemented. So getting a job in cybersecurity is a bit tougher. That's why you need the resilience and the zeal to continue. But it's worth it in the end. Why? If you follow through with the right path and you are true to what you know, so you have a long-term goal, you split into short-term goals where let's say in the next 3, 4, 5 years, your portfolio and your CV should show that yes, this person has experience. You might feel like an imposter now, a fraud now, but you should know that in the next 5 years, so long as you're consistent, you can't just be in the same level. Imagine you spend an hour today, spend an hour tomorrow. It is important. In fact, tomorrow you are not the person you are yesterday because you've gained 1 hour worth of knowledge. Now, imagine compounding it into 5 years worth of knowledge. So you can. It's not just possible to be the same. And then, in the space of this time, as you are connecting with a lot of people, um, joining communities, learning, showing your work, teaching people, making sure that what you do, you are putting it out there. Because you see these developers, these designers, they have their Instagram pages, their BRs where they put all this in. So cybersecurity is not something you go and try hack me and just be learning on your own. So when you can, you learn, you teach people, you introduce people, you show people what you do, you practice, you find exploits, you create projects, you do projects, you put it out there for people to see, you contribute to the open source community. Imagine creating a software or a tool that other hackers will be using and it will be useful for them. So that gives you credibility and it gives you points in the system where you scale the ladder. Then in years to come, months to come, you would have met new people and more opportunities will come. But you need to be ready to accept those opportunities. I've been in situations where I've missed opportunities in the past. Like of recent, I looked at an application I made in 2022 for a cybersecurity job, and I went through the email thread and I looked at my CV back then. I was just laughing. The way I was talking didn't even match what was. I was like, I was not even ready. It was obvious. So, but I was looking for work that time. So I was like, if it was now, the story would have been different. So that's the thing. So I'm not the person I was back then in 2022. I've improved, and I'm also going to be better. So you just need to keep learning. So far, you have a goal and a roadmap. Achieve them one by one. Just be achieving them one by one so that you'll be constantly improving. Opportunities will come. You keep applying, and one of them is going to hit definitely. People will notice you. People will bring jobs to you because now you've been gaining their trust by putting your work out there. So I feel that's how you get jobs in cybersecurity because it's not just as easy as going on Upwork and getting a freelance gig. No, you need to put in the work. People need to be able to trust you with their data. Thank you.
So someone also said, how lucrative is cybersecurity in Nigeria?
Well, cybersecurity is not the whole solve in Nigeria. I mean, there are a lot of other fields that I say they don't have too much of a presence in Nigeria. So when it comes, a lot of things you won't know, yeah, except you get to the field. For example, now I don't even know how the 3D modeling community is in Nigeria. Except the moment I decide, okay, I want to do 3D modeling, and I say, okay, let me start. How do I start? That is when I'll start knowing um, terms, knowing the popular people in the field. For example, now, if I mention Occupy the Web, if I mention Nahamsek, a lot of us will know him. If I mention Network Chalk, a lot of us will know him here. So I feel once you get into the field, you realize that there are people for you. It's a community. There are people. It's a lucrative something in Nigeria. It's a lucrative field in Nigeria. There are people. There are communities. Is full. It's not as saturated as web development, but it's a full community. You are active. So I feel when you're outside of it, you won't know that something is happening until you get into it. Then you start digging. You start seeing people, terms, popular people, popular places to learn from, popular certificates, popular communities. So it's lucrative. There are jobs, there are people, there are resources. In fact, a lot of it. So it's very lucrative in Nigeria. It's not something that you'll be starved of knowledge or information.
Okay, thank you very much. So this question is to Chika. And someone said, is cybersecurity just about viruses, threats, and vulnerabilities? And does cryptography fall under cybersecurity?
Okay. So in the name, as the name implies, cybersecurity is basically about securing your cyber life and everything. The whole point of anything cyber is either you're protecting or you're attacking something or you're writing how the security implementation should go about just to keep something safe. That's the whole point. Although some people now decided that, okay, why don't we cash out of this? And that's where you see all these hackers, you see exploits, you see viruses. There are some people that also create, that's why you have antivirus against the created viruses. And so you're just trying to protect the infrastructures, they protect yourself, protect those around you, and online, because this cyber matter is very, very broad, and I don't think it, I don't think it's been what's the word? I don't think it gets the credit it deserves. I don't know if that's the right expression for it. But if you go online, trust me, you see crazy stories, how people lose money, how people are scammed, and different things that are involved. So it's an it's a very broad subject, but then you have four main parts. That's as Isaac initially mentioned. You have red team, you have blue team, then you have GRC. Those are the ones that told you that they write the rules, the so meaning governance, risk, and compliance. You get so now you get the risk involved. These people need to comply to this, the governance, everything. Then you have the cloud security. Just the whole point of it is to secure infrastructures and secure yourself. And then cryptography too, yes, it falls under cybersecurity because if you can't just have what's it called? Okay, so imagine now there's something called JWT, JSON Web Tokens on the web. Apart from the normal cookies, I'm sure we all know about that one, which is where you get accept these cookies every time, accept these cookies, accept these cookies. But now JWT is a more better way of securing your data. So when a user logs in, I'm just giving an example. When a user logs in, these JSON Web Tokens are attached to their credentials. Not just even login. When you create your details, these web tokens are attached to your credentials, such that when you try to log in again to actually bring your JWT, then you'll be granted access. It still falls under cryptography. You're you're just creating complex let's call it complex strings such that it's not easily cracked, and then only you and you alone will be able to have access, or those that need to have access will have access to whatever system it is. So it falls under cybersecurity, yes.
So thank you very much. So another question is about OSINTs. Right. You
Is
know
that
about
is that addressed to me?
yes. If
Okay.
you can talk about
So
it.
OSINT, okay. So OSINT means open source intelligence. So this one now, we'll not even speak too much grammar now. We all know about CIA, we all know about Mossad. Their whole job, apart from Mossad that took it a step further, in fact, both of them say, but OSINT is mainly open source intelligence instead of the computer one now. So there's OSINT and there's SIGINT, signals intelligence. Open source intelligence is the one where, okay, who is this person? I want to find out about Chika. Who is Chika? What does Chika do? Where does Chika live? Where did he attend? What school did he attend? Who are his family members? You're just gathering information from the web and other resources available. Open source intelligence. You're just trying to is part of what we call reconnaissance. You're trying to dig out information. Who is this person? How do I, if I want to attack the system now, so let's bring it down back to computer aspect now. I want to attack this particular, no, not computers. Let's take it to humans because no matter how much you secure a system, human beings are still the greatest flaws. And design a system that should be very secure. All it takes is for somebody to click a phishing link and case closed if an executable file has been stored in your system. So the open source intelligence is how you gather information on who is this person, what company does it run. Basically, I'm just trying to gather data and information. Who is this person? How do I make the most out of this information? So that is OSINT. So opposite of this OSINT is the SIGINT, which is signals intelligence. This is where we perform recon online. What operating system are they using? What server? What ports are different services running on? So that's it basically. Open source intelligence, OSINT, and then there's SIGINT just to add it there. Thank you.
So thank you very much. So this question is to Fisayo. What is the toughest thing about cybersecurity? Fisayo, please, can you hear me? Okay. So Isaac, please, can you take the question? What is the toughest thing about cybersecurity?
Okay. Cybersecurity, the toughest thing. I'll say um, the learning new things is, I feel, because once I've mastered something, it's no longer tough for me again. So it's learning new things. Things only sound scary when you don't know about them. I feel there are things I didn't know before that once I later learned it and mastered it, I felt proud of myself. And now when I'm talking about it, someone that probably is behind me a few steps could be like, what's that? And he's going to feel that initial confusion. Then I can say, sit down now, let me educate you, that kind of thing. So I feel it's learning new things because when you are breaking into something in cybersecurity, you need to understand the underlying technology very well. For example, in web vulnerabilities, we have I'm going to give an example, SSTI, server-side template injection, where you need to understand website templates and how they work for you to properly exploit it. And you need to learn how objects work so you'll be able to make syscalls and perform RCE. So these things are, you need to understand or even injection vulnerabilities. So these things you need to understand the underlying technology and how they work for you to properly exploit them. So learning new things like this can take you on an entirely new learning curve where you will now be confused and fresh as if you know nothing. Then you have to go and start watching videos on how templates work, how they are programmed, what they are made of, you know. So I feel that's the hardest thing about cybersecurity, the learning curve for each new thing you want to learn. Once you've trumped it, you are good to go. That's why on my roadmap, I don't graduate to learn any new vulnerability until I'm sure I've fully understood one. Then I mark it off on my skill 3 tracker.
Okay, so thank you very much. So this another question to you. Someone said if someone put spyware on my device, such as phone and laptop, will it work even when I am offline?
Well, malware most of the time need internet connection to um that's if depends on the type of malware. So malware don't need internet connection, they have a specific purpose. These are usually viruses and worms where what they do is probably um encrypt your files like ransomware or just spread through the network destroying files and staying put. They have malicious purposes, but most of the time if an attacker wants something from you, they are going to deploy a trojan. And this trojan, what they do, they stay silent and execute commands from the attacker. So these ones need internet to work. So it depends on the type of malware. Malware means malicious software. So they come in different types. If it's a ransomware, it doesn't need internet to work. Obviously, you need to have gotten it from somewhere, either a flash drive or from the internet. And there are also new types of malware. Like there's one I'm currently working on that doesn't need um, internet connection. Just me being in proximity will be able to trigger commands because it constantly checks for Wi-Fi signals. And once it notices that Wi-Fi signal bearing the trigger SSID name is in proximity, it will construct a chain of commands and execute it. But once I leave, it stops, it becomes dead. So I feel there are a lot of sophisticated malware that don't need internet connection. That's why we need to be careful.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. So this question is to Ekong, and the question is cybersecurity a part of technology that involves continuous evolving? And just part of the question, this will be the last question. Can talk about the rapid adoption of AI in cybersecurity. Like, what does the future looks like for cybersecurity?
Yes, cybersecurity is an evolving niche. There are a lot of new, like, there are new threats, there are new attacks every day. That's why we have something like 0 day vulnerabilities. There are new threats, there are new attacks. That is the main reason cybersecurity is a field, because you're defending against something you don't know. You're defending against something that you don't want to happen. So that's just it. It's an evolving field. There are new things, there are new tools every day, there are new laws, there are new policies. It just follows the human development trend. The more people think, the more things are developed. It's just like, yeah, AI. Same way AI has come out, there's a stretch to what cybersecurity analysts need to do. Yes, this literally that's just it. That's just it. Yes. It's an evolving field.
Just in conclusion, I'd like to hand over to Isaac to talk more about the company before we round up.
Okay, so as a representative of CyberTech Nexus, my name is William Isaac, and I would like to, like we said during the beginning, CyberTech Nexus is a cybersecurity consulting company, and we also have an academy which I have passed through and I know its effects and how well it is. So currently, I am a certified ISO lead auditor, and I also have my certification in GRC, certification in IT, and certification in cybersecurity. So like I talked about how you break into cybersecurity, you need the IT fundamentals. So they have everything from the IT beginners, intermediate level to the advanced level, all with their own certifications and very, very rigorous assessment exams that by the time you are done, you'll be able to be a professional in IT and you'll be able to troubleshoot for users. So you're going to learn everything about the computer fundamentals and all that you need to know before you can then decide to break into cybersecurity. And we are also having launching our free course, which will be available soon. And you can always start with that. You gain your certificate and climb up the ladder. Like I said, you set a long-term goal and then you start accomplishing them one by one. piece by piece. So you have to start from somewhere. You can start with our free course, you move into the IT to gain the fundamentals, you go into cybersecurity, then you climb the ladder to the advanced level where you get your hands dirty, and with our hands-on labs, you will get to do a lot of hacking, a lot of simulations in all aspects of cybersecurity, the red team, the blue team, even in GRC, because we have our GRC courses as well. So if you decide to be an auditor, you are not too technical, we have it there for you. So if it's for CyberTech Nexus, it's a very good place to break into cybersecurity. They also have their CV reviews and their job simulations that get you ready for the job market. Because, like I said, getting a job in cybersecurity is harder than other fields. But if you follow through with CyberTech Nexus, you are going to get a above 40% chance over others, your peers in cybersecurity, because now you are going to have more skill, connections, and a better CV and portfolio to showcase your work. So thank you very much, Tommy, for giving me the ground.
Thank you very much to CyberTech Nexus for
Excuse me, please.
Thank you very much for
if I may add, Tommy.
Okay.
Okay, so if I may add, if you want to check us out, you can just go to the website cybertechnexus.com. You will see the link to the academy. Sign up. You will see our support mail there. You can always reach out to us anytime. cybertechnexus.com.
Okay. So cybertechnexus.com. So thank you very much for that. And also think the resources and then the roadmap will be sent to the group chat, our WhatsApp group chat. And also if you also have any other question about cybersecurity, so you need any resource or roadmap, you can send a message to I think when you registered, I sent a mail to everybody that registered. So to that same mail, you can, if you have any question or any other thing. And also to the first 5 people that registered, yes. So during the course of next week, like this week, we're about to get into, I'll be sending the course to them. Yes. So thank you very much, everyone, for that. Well, just as we round up, I want to know if anybody else has something to add. Like just somebody that has been listening to us right from the beginning. Anything you have learned from, it's just one person. How much it has impacted you. Does anybody want to introduce themselves and just talk? Okay, so since nobody's talking, I'll just round up. Thank God for the success of this event. And like I said before, if you have any question, you can text me or go to cybertechnexus.com. There's a support email there. So thank you very much, every. So thank you very much. You can start leaving. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining the meeting.